From Studio B at NBC4 in Columbus, Ohio, this is NBC4's The Spectrum with Colleen Marshall.
Well, is it time to adjust your family's finances? Democrats say working families have not done well under the Trump tax plan. Up next, an analyst who says high-income families have thrived, but what they're doing now ahead of Election Day. As you get ready to vote in the presidential election, some people are already getting ready to react to the election and what it could mean to their finances. Interest rates and taxes could shift, especially because of the ongoing economic impact of COVID-19. I talked to Joel Guth, CEO of Gryphon Financial Partners. He advises high-income families and businesses who believe they benefited from Donald Trump's tax plan. Democrats say average families did not.
Joel, you advise high-income earners and corporations. What is your advice to them right now in the midst of this election season?
Well, I think first you want to be prepared if there are changes. So I think you need to meet with your advisory team to make sure you understand exactly what may change, how it impacts you, and what tentative plans you could put in place so you could act quickly if there are going to be changes.
What are we talking about? What should you be putting in place right now, or what should you be planning for?
I think the two big areas are when President Trump passed his tax law change, it gave certain benefits to wealthy families and high-income earners. Are those going to disappear? And then two, what changes might occur if there is a change in the administration that could be adverse to you from a tax law?
And adverse, do you think that means different interest rates, different investment strategies?
Yeah, I think it would mean that rates are going to go higher and potentially substantially higher. And so I think it could cause you to take some actions before year end that you might not normally think about.
And that's because you'll have between Election Day and year end to decide one way or the other which way you think we're going to be going, right?
Exactly.
And hasn't COVID also impacted investment strategies?
You know, it certainly did initially, and I think that there's a huge question mark as we continue to handle the virus and the economy continues to evolve and hopefully recover, you know, what's going to happen to specific industries.
What industries are you worried about?
Well, I certainly think anything that's travel or leisure has been hit hard. I think it started to recover, but certainly not to the level it was. So I think it's going to be around what happens to Americans. Are they free to travel more? Are they comfortable traveling more? I think those are two of the hardest hit industries that I think we want to watch very closely.
If there's a vaccine, do you anticipate that we're going to see an immediate change in investments and what's paying off?
I don't think it will be immediate. I think you'll have some initial optimism that the country and the world can start to function as we functioned pre-COVID. But I do think we've had some major structural changes by having this many people out of work. You've had some impacts to communities downtown. So I think it will slowly evolve after the initial optimism.
At this point, as an investment strategist yourself, tell me, are you feeling optimistic about where we go from here, no matter who's in the Oval Office?
I wouldn't say that. I think that if we see higher taxes, certainly on the corporate side, which there's been discussions of, higher tax rates, lower corporate earnings, which make the market inherently more expensive. And so I think that it will be really dependent on what we get.